Hello, everybody, and welcome to another new episode of the Sports Lounge here on WFRV Plus. I'm your host, Adam Ingles, and with me, a man who needs no introduction, Sean Kornowski. Sean, how you doing?
Need I say more? I need you to say more. I mean, we're good.
So, with the cold weather and the
Yeah.
snow and the wind, what do you typically think of when those three things are together?
Ooh, football, maybe the end of NFL football and the beginning of the Blizzard.
Yeah,
football.
that's what I'm thinking. Blizzard. So that's what we're
yeah.
going to talk about today here on the show. So we're excited to welcome someone who plays a huge role in bringing professional football and unforgettable entertainment to Green Bay. His name is Ryan Hobson from the Green Bay Blizzard. Ryan has been with the Blizzard organization for over a decade and currently serves as director of sales, but his impact goes well beyond ticket numbers and sponsorships. He's been instrumental in growing the Blizzard brand, enhancing the fan experience, and strengthening the team's connection to the community. So welcome, Ryan, to the show. Hey, Ryan, thanks for joining us. How's it going today?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So take us back to the beginnings. You've been with the Blizzard for over 10 years. How did your career path start to get involved in professional
Sure.
football?
So I actually come from 11 years of high-end AV work for Best Buy, ironically, and I at the end of my time there, I was driving a Geek Squad bug around. Never the guy to hang a TV on your wall or fix a computer, but I was sent out to your house to sell you really expensive stuff. So theater rooms, home automation projects. So
You still do that stuff? I might
get
need you
on
on the side.
On the side, I
Yeah.
actually had helped a neighbor out with that recently. I enjoy it when you don't have to do it on the clock anymore. So it was a really fun gig. You're putting in some crazy systems. And just at the time when I didn't know if I wanted to sell TVs my entire life, ironically, I got sent out just on a simple audio system, nothing crazy, for Larry and Kathy Trinkler, who had just purchased the Blizzard. So I had met them going into when they were buying the team, and I got done with about a 2-day job out there. And in that job, where your job is to spend other people's money, you meet some incredible humans and you meet some pretty cruddy humans where they treat you like what they make in life. And there's just something different about them, to the extent that I got done with a 2-day job out there and made it about 5 miles down the road, and I sent a text back and thanked them for their time and said, hey, I don't know if I want to sell TVs my entire life. I know you own a couple companies, so Baytech Games, MCL, Trinks. And it wasn't even about the Blizzard at that point. They had just purchased the Blizzard, and I just said, hey, keep me in mind if something comes up. And I made it another 5 miles down the road, and a message came through and said, hey, when you left, we said you were going to work for us one day. We just weren't going to recruit you in front of your install team. So fast forward, they finished their first year of owning the team, and I went out to the last game of that season, and they had asked me what I thought, and I had said, I'm not sure what you're asking me, and here we are. So I know sports marketing background. I just believe in treating people the right way, whether that's in sales or any type of relationship, and right time, right place. And we are here. Be a human being.
Yeah.
We are here 11 years later for me, 12 years later for them, owning the team. So
That's what I like so
Yep.
much about the Blizzard football and the experience I've had on the field with the players. They're just so humble.
Yep.
And they're willing to meet and greet with their kids right after the game for 15, 20 minutes. And I think that's the big part to me, is just like the interaction with the team,
Yeah, right people. I think right people saved the team. I'll put it that way. If you look back in the depths of newspaper articles in 2013 and stuff, that's when the team went up for sale. And having helped correct this thing in the community, I firmly believe, had it not been them when they purchased it, we probably wouldn't be doing this today. This cool thing you've invited me to do. It is not. You don't get into indoor football for wanting to make money. You get in. Not everybody can afford to go to a game across the street with the other team in town, and they have helped create this into something special that families can afford. So
That's great.
Yep.
So what do you think the biggest change in the last 10 years since you've been doing this, in terms of maybe the football, maybe the fan experience, facilities, just kind of what's the growth of indoor football been in the last 10 years?
I think the biggest piece has been the community. Truly, first 3 years, I'm like, what the heck did I get myself into? In trying to figure out what it was, and sports marketing from a guy who came from selling you TVs on your wall. And it started with our relationship in the schools and getting the players back out in the community. And it started to gain traction until, I mean, last year we wrapped up with been in north of 60 elementary and middle schools, the players promoting the games, but also making a difference, whether that meant playing at recess, doing a reading program, helping in the lunchroom. There's not a, when a school works with the Blizzard, there's not a cookie cutter approach. How can we help and be of use in your building? And if you'd be willing to promote a game, cool. So it's just, it started, and lo and behold, you do the right thing in town, people will come out to a game on Friday night, right? So there is no, we came up with an incredible theme night, or we just became better people in the community. And it shifted in a big way. And it's funny you asked about the football piece, because in, I'll call it my first 6 seasons, we didn't glimpse the playoffs.
Yeah.
Did in 2019, and some of the diehards can correct me, but like all that growth happened before we went on the run we had been on in the past 2 seasons, which is lost an Eastern Conference Championship game. Fast forward a year, got to play in the IFL Championship game, and call it lost by 2 inches. So yeah, that growth started with the community piece, and yes, winning football, and we are indoor football, but you come to a Blizzard game to experience what Sean had mentioned, right? So family, affordable entertainment, whether it was your school night or some of the other cool themes we got going on. But like, I truly think, to answer your question, it was the work in the community and just doing this thing the right way and try and create memories for families that attend. And oh, by the way, a football game broke out, has really been the attitude that I think has shifted it. And the community would resonate that as attendance has shifted over the years. So
My son is 13 years old right now, and his memory was, we were front row, and we had a football player almost collide right with him.
Yep.
He got a ball. He was happy, didn't care at all, and the player came out after the game and was like giving him hugs and stuff like that. But he remembers that. Like, that was a good 5-6 years ago.
I mean, for anybody that watches and listens to what we're doing, it's so different, right? And I had no clue until they were interviewing me. I'm like, and I grew up in the area. I'm like, I have no idea what you're asking me to come to. There's an indoor football game in Green Bay. It's just so different. Like, as we sit, we'll call it 1 feet from each other in here, like you are there to there from a player. And you are right. Players go over the walls. Footballs go into the crowd. It is something cool. And now it's become something really special that I'm not sure, as we were figuring it out, like, had Blizzard football gone away, if people would have missed it, right? Because at the time, on field wasn't great. The community piece wasn't great. And now fast forward, I think there'd be a void if we didn't do what we do in the community. And it's cool. It's really neat to be a part of that. If that answered your question in any way, shape, or form, community is the real answer.
And it's good that you mentioned that with schools. So schools, if you're part of a school, if you're part of a parish, if you're part of any kind of group, connect with the Blizzard. They do phenomenal things about setting up special deals for schools to get tickets and groups. So yeah, come on out with your parish, come on out with your school, and just have a good time.
Yeah.
One more question before we send it to break. So, your title is director of sales, but
Sure.
I imagine you wear many, many hats.
Yeah.
So I know we're in the off season right now. So what is a kind of a typical day in the off season look for you? And then what does it look like in the regular, when the season's going on?
So besides the fan experience, 5th quarter and things Sean has referenced, I think one of the coolest pieces of indoor football is catch the ball, keep it, right? So we theme all of our game balls to every single game. So we hope you come to all 8 and buy or catch 8 of them, right? But that takes a ton of foresight when it comes to building theme nights, because you order those things. Like, we were finishing playing the championship game this season, and I had to be almost done with theme nights because you put that football order in September. So to answer your question, it's building the theme nights, working on partners. We don't love the word sponsor in Green Bay Blizzard. It has to be a partnership. Working on partner businesses, like our relationship with you guys, right? To get involved in the theme nights and help make those as special as they are. So that's, man, and I think you guys and your other gigs at the station here have to sell and interact, but sales is a dying art. When it's done wrong, it goes terrible. When it's done right, you end up with some incredible things and partnerships instead of sponsorships. So right now, I mean, it's time consuming in the best way possible, right? You're spending time on the relationships and finding new partners and working on renewals, all while realizing the clock is ticking to the home opener.
Right.
We've
But
all
yeah,
been
yeah,
there.
We've all
yeah,
been there.
right.
Gets
Yeah, you're like,
deadlines.
cool, I could order this thing, but it's not going to be here in time. Yeah. So it's really the corporate partnerships, working on the theme nights so we can do the things like you mentioned there. Like there's a lot of thought in, hey, it's faith and family game. Let's work with the faith-based schools and some of the churches in the area, or it's the big school night, right? And then you find other themes that help build a group audience, whether that's scout night like everybody does, or last year was our first go of dairy night where we could engage with 4-H and FFA and just a different community at games who've maybe never experienced a game. So it's a lot of the planning and building theme nights and finding partners to do that, all while the league has made strides and announcements that for sure affect my world most of the time positively, that you get to deal with when that email comes your way. So, yeah.
Well, we're going to talk a little bit when we come
Yeah.
back from break about some of those partnerships and some of those school partnerships. One in particular, I'll let us mention after the break.
Little tease. All right,
Yeah.
we'll be right back on the
All right.
Sports Lounge here on WFRV Plus. Welcome. Go ahead.
Oh, welcome back. Yeah. Well, welcome back. I am Sean Kornowski, and I'm joined by Adam Engels. And again, in the studio, we have Ryan Hobson. And if you saw our first segment, we talked a little bit about, special partnerships that you've had around the community. There is a particular college that we just learned that you had a special something come up with. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So, very fortunate to work for good folks who own the Blizzard, and Larry and Kathy Twinkler believe in what the university is for the town. And we had spun this idea of what if UWGB could play their first football game, quote unquote. But it was a Blizzard, right? So the Blizzard wouldn't be the Blizzard that night. We will become the UWGB Frozen Phoenix. So the announcers will commentate that way. The logos, the helmets, the game balls, the merch, it all changes, right? Like it is the Blizzard players. I will debunk that myth, but the press conference worked because I got all sorts of questions.
Yeah, we had Preston and we had Marcus on the show, and I was like, it was the same day.
Yeah.
And we're like, can you say anything? He's like, I don't know what we can say right now.
So the best way I can explain it to folks who Wisconsinites listening, Utter Tuggers. So when the T-Rats rebrand to that, nod to another team in our league who had done it as well. The Jacksonville Sharks became and partnered with a university in town. So we went to school on those two ideas, and real awesome partnership unfolded. We're on April 18th. Still Green Bay Blizzard football, but the Blizzard will be the UWGB Frozen Phoenix in their first football game ever. When we take the field as the Frozen Phoenix that night.
We better have plenty of college students out there in that crowd. I mean, that's going to be an epic performance. Let's talk a little bit more about these theme nights, and why it's so important for families and groups and, casual friends just to get together. What kind of themes do you have coming up this year?
Yeah, we can actually unpack this based on when this will air because it'll have come out by then. So we have... So we run a faith and family game every year. Real awesome. The past couple seasons, we have some huge name recording artists in that industry, from Colton Dixon, Micah Tyler, to last year, the biggest one we've ever had in 10th Avenue North, which was awesome. This year it'll be Jamie McDonald joining us. We run youth jersey night every year, which causes a line out the front of the rush where we give away jerseys until we can't anymore. And usually I run. Like when I see the last box dwindling, I bolt. So if you happen to be at that game, you're like, where'd Ryan go? I'm like, we're almost out of youth jerseys. I'm out. But we do a youth jersey giveaway. The past couple seasons, we've had a sold out game in Kids Night, which is our big school night, where kids are free with a paid adult ticket. Plus, we run a post game laser show that is pretty incredible indoors.
I've experienced that.
It is something
so
special.
Awesome.
Lasers indoor have a different vibe than when you fire them outdoor because the ceiling contains the haze. It's pretty awesome. One I am personally excited about this year is we, for the first time in 8 years, and I was involved in it when we did it 8 years ago, we will be running Star Wars night. Officially engaged with and partnered by and licensed by and supported by the Disney folks. So I can actually say that without getting in trouble.
Right,
I've
yep.
signed the paperwork.
It's great.
We are running Star Wars night, and it's going to be incredible because it'll actually collide with our breast cancer awareness game. So I am a Star Wars guy through and through. So we're actually doing Blizzard Strike Back against breast cancer. Custom jerseys, pink lightsaber giveaway. It's going to be really, really cool.
Now, will you be auctioning off those jerseys?
We sure are, actually.
All right.
And portion of those proceeds will go to help Ribbon of Hope that night because much like the community piece we talk about, we always try and work with a nonprofit on our games. A couple other ones. Our Dairy Night will be back. Military Appreciation Night is always one we run. And then, of course, Frozen Phoenix and some other ones coming this year with some new shenanigans. So,
Great.
yes.
So every game is an event, basically,
Yeah.
right?
It is, yeah. And I got asked by a different team when I had the chance to speak last season at the league level of, do you do those every night? And like, yeah, and in fact, you try and go so far to the extreme that fans come out to Kids Night or Laser Show or on the Frozen Phoenix game where we're not us.
Mm-hmm.
And we make it snow on every touchdown that night, and you want them to think, what are they going to do next time? And they come check it out. But yeah, we do. We try and engage fans differently every game.
That's awesome.
Speaking of events, there's another exciting event that I want to touch on. It's the IFL Hall of Fame game that's going to be hosted here in Green Bay.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that a little bit and kind of what that means to the organization and the city?
Yeah, so it's a first for the IFL to actually not have that event at the championship game every year. So we were asked about it when we played in the championship game this past season, and the league told us we would get to play host to that thing for the first time ever. Normally, you bring the 3 young men that are getting, or women, if it's a front office individual or owner, inducted into the IFL Hall of Fame to the championship game, and there's a whole ceremony there. This will be the first time that it's actually done to start the season at a team, and we do pretty well in crowds in Green Bay with Green Bay Blizzard football. So
Yeah.
it's a huge honor. I've had the opportunity to learn from the commissioner when he used to own a team in the league, and he's just been a friend. So it's pretty cool that we were picked, and actually in what will be a slugfest, it is a rematch. It is Green Bay versus Vegas, so it's a rematch of the championship game that was determined by 2 seconds 2 inches. So it'll be, again, a rerun of the championship game from this past season on March 15th.
Okay.
When the IFL Hall of Fame game, and 3 individuals are inducted here, and the league will be in town, and it's really, really cool. It's neat
And
to get that opportunity to host it.
And you'll have, like huge broadcast news on Yahoo Sports and
Yep.
FanDuel Sports Network.
Yeah, so those
Also-
announcements are out of the where you'll watch away games or home games as to who has fallen where in the broadcast matrix is still being determined. But huge news in that IFL this year will be partnered with FanDuel Sports Network and the Yahoo Sports Network. So I'm not sure where the IFL Hall of Fame game falls yet, because and that's not me keeping anything from you guys. That is me genuinely not knowing
Yeah.
which network or what we're doing that home opener.
What does that mean for like growing for like recruiting and growing the league? That's huge.
Yeah, I think it's great because on the sports side, and thank you guys for asking so much of the family entertainment side, but on the sports side, we are indoor football, and we are the indoor football league in the United States. It allows the platform for our young men to get in front of more eyes and move up, right? We actually would love an environment where star quarterback only gets to play 6 games and NFL has scooped him up. That's what you want for the guys that play for you. So more eyes on the product, and truthfully on the entertainment side, more eyes that, you hope you create FOMO, right? Like before they cut to commercial break, if you're like, holy cow, they just made it snow after a touchdown, or like, oh, they're going to cut the broadcast before the laser show. Like you hope they're like, well, now I want to check one out in person. So I think it's a great opportunity to highlight both what these young men are capable of on the field and what it's like to experience a Blizzard game, maybe to a set of eyes that hasn't got to see it in a long time, when it was either on YouTube or on the IFL network. I think FanDuel and Yahoo, and in their press releases, if you want a good read as fans listening to your show here, want to go back, and I think they're genuinely excited about carrying an indoor football product, which is neat.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's take it to break because we do want to talk a little bit more about some of the new player signings
Sure.
that we have coming up this season. So Sean and Adam, signing out.
We'll be
right
back
now.
after this. Welcome back to the final segment of the Sports Lounge. We're here with Ryan talking all things Blizzard football. I know we've touched on a lot of off the field stuff. Let's talk about on the field, you know, some action. So, upcoming schedule, when's the home opener? What are some highlights? What are the rivalries we're looking? I know you mentioned there's some things, some rivals in Vegas that we're looking to get some revenge on. So just talk about the schedule and what we're looking forward to.
March 15th will be a huge one. So the league fires up in Green Bay that day against Vegas in a rematch of the IFL Championship game. Literally defined by 2 inches if you want to go back and find that one in the archives and watch it. I don't recommend experiencing it live because I was there and it did not feel great. Rivalry games, I mean, I have never in 11 years of doing this experienced a hostile environment like I did for this year's Eastern Conference Championship when we were in Quad Cities. So anytime we play Quad Cities, who has most of their rosters back, it is a slugfest. So May 8th for Star Wars night, ironically, will be versus Quad Cities. So that one I would mark. The other than that, new team in town on May 29th. Hopefully I got that one right. We will see the San Antonio Gunslingers for the first time ever in Green Bay. Cool. So Vegas and San Antonio are the two out of conference teams that will be playing at home this year. So it's great for fans to not see as much as I love my friends at the Barnstormers and the Steam Wheelers, the same 3 teams 6 times a season. Right. Also ends up with a lot of personal penalties if you're playing the same team a bunch of weeks in a row. Yes. Yeah. Yep.
Excellent. Well, let's talk a little bit about some of the roster players that we just got onto the team. You know, let's start out, you know, back in October, you got Trevon Alexander.
Yeah. So teams always added in the IFL. So Bay Area went dormant this year, and that can happen for various reasons in the league, arena relationships and just shifts or teams moving, like Massachusetts went to Orlando this year. So Bay Area's players hit the waiver wire, and he was a steal, as are a lot of the Bay Area guys. It's almost like the Bay players went to the Bay, so they're back in Green Bay. But if people were paying attention to the IFL season last year, we were a turnover away from facing Bay Area Panthers. So it would have been the Bay Area Battle of the Bays in the IFL Championship. So it is a great ad to have him at wideout. Right. And I actually had a good chance to converse with him because he's looking to get involved in coaching youth golf when he's here for his time. So I got to introduce him to the friends over at First Tee. So great young men when we talk about the school thing, and heck of a wideout. Very excited to get to introduce a new group of Blizzard footballs, which is kind of the nature of indoor football, is a ton of roster turnover, unfortunately or fortunately, every season. So we're very much looking forward to him.
Talk a little bit about Liam Thompson and the leadership he brings to the team. So
2 quarterbacks currently rostered. So quarterback battle for sure in camp when you go to replace the prior league's your MVP last year. A lot of excitement when the Liam post hit. Looks like, and I had to read much like you guys did. So spent some time in training camp with the Giants, and when you're that close, you got to figure you got a good ball player on your hand. And when I read his bio and some of his work and how important the academic piece with him, I think we got a good young individual on our hands there. And Coach Barrett as our offensive coordinator and Coach Roberson at head coach will have their work cut out for him as we hit what is the craziest part of indoor football, which is, call it, a week and a half of training camp, and then you're playing football. Like you report 14 days before your first game,
right?
And have to determine who's starting and who's playing, and we'll see, right? I will see at practice, no different than anyone else, who's got what and who will make the team.
Well, we would like to see, talk a lot of about running back Walter Wilborn III. The power that he brings and the versatility that he brings also.
Yep.
Giovanni Waller,
yes.
That's so awesome to get him on defense.
Yes.
We hope to have you back
Yeah.
some of the players maybe when it comes season time.
Yeah, and I'll bring Coach. I think when we teed this up, I'll bring Coach who
fantastic.
can maybe talk to.
We've stacked people in here, but they've been like mainly women though. So I don't know how many men we can really fit
It
in
looks
this room.
sizable maybe on TV.
Yeah.
But
So
we're
it's-
in a very small room.
Yeah.
So excellent. Well,
I just want to give you a
yeah.
chance to kind of talk to the audience about what should people who come out to the games look forward to in 2026. What messages would you want to give the fans? Where should people best reach out to you? All that sort of thing.
Yeah, it is an experience. You guys have both said that. Yes, there is indoor football, but it is a family experience. We would actually dare you to come to one if you've never been to one and say you didn't enjoy it. And that would be feedback we'd welcome, actually, as we choose to better this thing every year. But flex tickets, season tickets, single game tickets will be on sale soon, and that's all available at greenbayblizzard.com. But I think, and Sean, you could attest to it, I'd literally dare you to try one and shoot me an email, Ryan, at greenbayblizzard.com if you were like, that was terrible. For whatever reason, we'll take that feedback and run with it, but it is so different and so unique. And non-sports fans have reached out and said, this is incredible. We're glad this is in town. And that's when I think you have something unique. And yes, the football has been great, and I expect Coach Roberson to continue that run that we are on. And ironically, we've won one more game every year. Yep.
Yes.
So you go. There's your challenge.
Yes.
Go to a Blizzard game this year.
Yep.
The challenge is to not have fun. I guarantee
Correct.
you. Or
There it is. There it is. You could have done the close.
I could probably be the loudest one for you, depending on where you put me in the center there.
Well, a lot of good things going on with the Blizzard, and we're so thankful for you, Ryan, for joining us. And to our audience, please get out and experience the Blizzard for yourselves. And that'll do it for another episode of the Sports Lounge. For Sean Karnowski, I'm Adam Ingles. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.